What is good, everyone? This is Jack Dawkins coming live from my first official stream. Oh boy. And this is a song writing session. So I'm going to spend the next 90 minutes to 2 hours with you folks. And basically, what we're going to do is go into a studio session, basically. And I'm going to take a little seed of an idea, something very, very small, and then start to build it out into what is hopefully like a scratch demo by the end of all this. So let me tell you a little bit of what that looks like. So first, I'll tell you about the idea and where it came from and why it's important to me, which I always think is good for emotional context for a song. Very important. And then after that, we're going to do some free writing. For those of you who have a journaling practice, who want to write songs, who want to write lyrics, who write 16s every day, I invite you into that space. I'm going to put on some music that is super repetitive and very trancey, so you can kind of just get into a vibe and zone out. Also a great time to grab a drink if you would like. After that, I will take my bucket of word salad and start to organize it. And the reason I do that is because once I get into actually writing the song, it's really easy to go off on tangents and get super lost. I also have shiny object syndrome, which means I lose focus very quickly. So doing that is going to help me stay kind of organized as I go. And then when I actually get into writing the lyrics, I have a path that I'm kind of following instead of just throwing things at the wall and shooting in the dark. Once I have kind of like that storyboard, which may even include in pictures, who knows, then it's really easy to understand the tone or the vibe of the music that I want to create on any given day. And God bless Apple, they make it extremely easy to come up with a bunch of different instrumentation around that. I'll usually start with a top line melody or something that kind of gives that emotional tone to it, major, minor key, pick the tempo, and then bring in some stronger bass and some drums underneath it so that I can kind of get into that sort of hip hop or rap flow, so to speak. And then once the instrumentation is built, once we have the storyboard, then the fun part starts, which is just basically organizing the words into the shape or the frame of a song. And again, I don't write in a classic pop style, and that you're not going to see me write kind of like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. I'm not trying to write a hook. I know that's how a lot of people like to approach songwritings. I stick almost honestly without a chorus or a hook. I'll just sort of write a linear, cohesive storyline. Maybe that'll change over time. Again, I don't know. But for now, that's how I like to write. And so to the extent that there are pieces of this that you find really interesting, that you really love, that you would love to see turn into a hook or a verse, that feedback is super helpful. And part of the reason I'm doing this stream is because I want to do this with other people. I want it to be more of an engaged and engaging session versus me just kind of sitting alone in my living room, as you can see with my little couch, just doing it by myself. So that's the basic idea. Per usual, I have a chat and I have a chat bot. So if you have any questions or thoughts or comments, please share them throughout the stream. I want this to be as interactive as possible, with maybe the exception of the free writing. That's 10 minutes where I'll just kind of like black out and not pay attention to anything. But other than that, I would love for this to be more of a conversation rather than just me talking at you, though I love speaking at you also. So fret not if you don't want to have a conversation either. So yeah. That's where we're going to start. And the seed for today, the starting point, is Chicago. Now, a little bit about my past. I just moved to Boulder, Colorado in March of this year. And I was in Chicago for the 9 years before that. And when I was in Chicago, I went through like a number of different lives. I went to business school. I helped kind of get a restaurant concept off the ground. I left that concept. I got married. I had a kid. I bought a house. I tried a whole bunch of different things. I was a career coach. I was a fitness instructor. I lived in some different areas of the city. It was kind of a huge jumble of different things. And then where it ended is I actually went through a separation at the end of last year. And I'm now in a really wonderful, beautiful place with that in my new life in Colorado. But it left me with this kind of dangling end of this 9-year period, which up to that point was kind of the longest I had lived anywhere in my life, except for the house I was born in. And I only lost to that by 5 years. When I left Chicago, I knew that I was going to want to write something, and I thought that giving it a little space from exactly when I left would probably be smart, would probably be helpful. And now I feel like I've gotten some of that space. I'm in my new home. I'm doing this new thing, and I'm excited to kind of look back. The lasting image I have of Chicago, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the city, let me paint a slightly brighter picture. So when you fly in, you can go to two airports. There's Midway and there's O'Hare. O'Hare is the big one. It's the one you've seen in Home Alone where everyone's running all the time. Not wholly inaccurate either, to be entirely honest with you. But when you fly into O'Hare, you could basically paint a diagonal line that goes southeast toward downtown, which is called the Loop. So there's this diagonal line, and there's a train, the L, or the elevated train, that runs on the blue line. And for all of my time in Chicago, I lived in different places, but I mostly lived along the blue line. And the last neighborhood that I lived was called Logan Square. Logan Square is really, really similar to Boylston Street in Boston, if that is a helpful reference point. It's got these really old brick and stone buildings that are not super tall, 2 or 3 stories, but they're all kind of townhomes, and they all have this super classic architecture. And there's this huge midway that has these beautiful, beautiful trees that look like they've been growing for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the image I have, the last apartment I had was right in the heart of Logan Square, like right kind of where all the restaurants and shops are. And Logan Boulevard is the long road that goes right into that heart. And I just remember sort of taking that drive many, many, many times, going past the trees and past these buildings, kind of toward this huge roundabout with a big obelisk in the middle. And that's, I don't know why, but I have that as like my enduring kind of lasting image of Chicago. So I'm going to start with that picture. I'm going to start with that idea. I don't know where it's going to go necessarily, but we're going to jump into a 10-minute free write. And again, the point of a free write is that basically the pen cannot stop for the entire 10 minutes. It's just going to go and go and go. And in this case, I'm going to do it in a word processor. So again, like you can literally watch my brain right onto the screen and just kind of keep running and going. And the point of that is that I may consciously have a couple of thoughts. Like I have that image of Logan Square. I can think of a couple of apartments. But until you start scraping, and you start scraping without an editor, you don't really know what's going to come up. And like, I had a lot of different emotions over 9 years in Chicago. So I don't It's like 40 degrees. If you speak Celsius, I apologize. My conversion isn't that quick. Let's say 8 to 10, something like that. It's not nice. And like, it's people are just so desperate to get out. And like, I hadn't even thought of this until now. Like, the same energy that I'm feeling now from people who have been in like this COVID lockdown state for so long and are so just grateful to be outside and breathing fresh air. That's the feeling you get in Chicago every year on that first warm day. And when I say everyone goes outside, I mean literally everybody. Like, Michigan Avenue and the shopping aisles are chock full. The lakefront path is chock full. Every patio in the city that's lucky to be open is chock full. Like, everyone goes outside. And like, the collective mood lift that happens during that time is actually a really unique and special place, or just a special thing to be a part of. And I think people have their own version of it, which is also something I love about big cities. They're so big that it can't be just one thing that everyone rallies around. Like, everyone has to find their slice. So whether it's that you're always at opening day, probably not, because the weather's usually shitty then, but whatever the first nice weather baseball game is, whether it's the baseball game or that patio or that restaurant or that group of friends or that rooftop, like whatever it is, people find their version and they just celebrate it so genuinely and outwardly. And that is something that I love about Chicago, and that I know that I will miss. And again, when I was first thinking, all I was thinking of was this enduring image of like the fall and Logan Square in this place I used to live when I was driving in. And through some scraping, through some digging, and kind of getting to those walls where your brain's like, I'm out of words. And you're like, well, motherfucker, we're still going. That's where you find some really interesting stuff. And I think particularly for me, like, that's where I start to find the heart space. That's where you start to find the more emotional pieces that people can actually stick to. So with that in mind, let me change up what you can see here, and let's go here. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to go back here. Okay, so this is like all my drivel. Some stuff was things I don't like about Chicago, which we're going to skip because we don't need to write an angry Chicago song. No one needs that right now. But perhaps like a little bit of an ode to Chicago, and particularly to that first day where it is nice. That makes sense to me. I like that vibe. So let's go with that. So here's all my words. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to a new page, and I'm going to start to think about how I want to storyboard this. And so if I'm thinking about a storyline, what I'm thinking about is like, what is the emotional arc? Like what, hold on. We don't need another timer. That's very silly. There we go. We don't need like for a storyline, we need an emotional arc. I want people to feel like they've actually gone somewhere throughout the course of the song. And I do not have the musical dexterity. How about those for 2 words back to back? To figure out like how to build that instrumentation from scratch, maybe one day. But for now, I use words. And so what I am thinking of like is to start people and set them in this kind of cold, dark place, and describing some of Chicago and its harshness, and then like slowly peeling back and revealing that there is this magical, wonderful day. And it's funny, like there's a reverse too, which I'm, again, not going to write about now, but when you're in summer, fall, and you have the first day where it goes from crisp to like fucking cold, like just uncomfortably cold, and you never wear enough layers, and you're outside and you're like, shit, it's cold. That day has like the inverse effect where everyone collectively is like, myrrh. But we're not going to write about that. We're going to write about the happy version that happens in May. So if I'm going to storyboard that, I'm going to talk about Chicago in the wintertime. So I'm thinking snow on the trees, enormous puddles. I always think of that because the snow half melts, which is weird, and then we get these unbelievably weird puddles and ice formations all over the street. Bitter cold, gray sky, gray windows. If you're ever downtown, like, and the sky is gray and all the buildings are gray and steel, and you look at the windows rather than in the summer, like they reflect color, they show light. In the wintertime, they're super, super flat, and all the buildings almost lose some of their dimension, which is like, that's a detail that's super vivid for me. So I'm going to try and capture that. Flatness of the buildings, no color, no perspective. Less social. I know that, like, what's the Danish term? Hygge is like, this is when you're supposed to say, but I love blankets and candles and inside time. And I'm sure that works very well for some people. That shit does not work for me. So it's just a less social, colder, grayer time. But then, emotional turn, here we go. There's a day. A day. And what is that day like? The sun is shining. That one's kind of obvious. The wind or the air feels different. It would be a little silly, but I would almost describe it as optimistic or hopeful. Like that there's this promise of something that's going to happen, and it's more than just being warmer, that there's like a genuine emotional quality to it that's really, really special. People poking their heads out, wondering if it's safe. Then people are everywhere. I'm also going to completely ignore what COVID has done, and I'm just going to assume everything is as it was before I left. Swimming at Ohio Street Beach, running on the lakefront path, excuse me. Drinking on patios, walking down Michigan Avenue, shopping, so much iced coffee. Oh my God. I will say, one of the things I miss most about Chicago, unequivocally, the coffee shops. Oh God, if you're a coffee fan, Chicago, I don't think gets nearly enough credit for the amount of unbelievable coffee shops they have. Shout out to Gaslight, shout out to Wormhole, shout out to Cafe Streets and Metric. Pro tip if you're traveling there. Cool. So again, this is like super basic storyboard. Chicago in the wintertime. We're starting with this kind of darker image, and then we're building into this transformation, this shift on this one day where all of a sudden there's like this feeling of hope. The sun is shining. It feels different. People are starting to come out. And then by the end of the day, by like 4 to 5 p.m., like the city has completely exploded and is just full of people, and has that really special energy, which I should write down. And that could probably get its own 4, 8, or 16. It could probably get a whole bunch of stuff all to itself. All right. Amazing. So now, going back through where we were, seed of an idea, talked about the story, did some free writing, found like a little nugget that we can grab onto, and now we're going to turn that into a storyboard, which we have in front of us. We have the emotional arc that's going to kind of happen. And like, who knows, when I start writing, there may need to be something with more consequence. Like right now, the storyboard is written just describing the city, which is where I'm coming from because I'm thinking about the city. But what may actually help the song, what may allow it to progress, is like, what would a person be feeling in those moments? So yes, there's a description of Chicago, but there's also like, who is the person? What is he or she going through when they're at the end of that Chicago winter? They're tired. They're cold. Your skin is like so fucked, like so bad. But then you have this one day, and it kind of renews his or her spirit and just kind of brings them back into the frame of how lucky and how grateful he or she might be to be in the city of Chicago. And so when I start writing, like, I think there will definitely be some description of the city. Like if I was watching the video, I would see so many different shots of the different areas, but it may ultimately come down to a person and their experience of this, because then it connects more to individuals, to you potentially. We'll see. But for now, let's find some instrumentation. So I've given myself a difficult task for no reason, which is to try and have the emotional energy shift throughout the song, which again, as I mentioned, I don't know if I can do with basic instrumentation, but I can probably find something that feels kind of good. And so what I'm going to try and do is find a top line melody that makes me think of the energy of that first day. And then what I might do as I go through the demo is have two different scenes, so to speak, one without that top line that's a little more drum centric and bass heavy, and then one that's a little bit brighter. And I won't worry about transitioning between the two too much. I'm just going to start there and see what we build. Let's get into it. I'll go back to Logic. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. What I want is that, and then I want that. Nope, I want that. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Let's go into, wait a minute. Cool. All right. So this is what I was using for the free writing, which we don't need anymore. So let's open something new. Let's close that. I'm not going to save it. Skip. And we are going to start a new project with live loops. I am the wrong person to give you a tour through Logic, so I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna start building, and it's gonna be great. So I'm thinking sunshine, top line. I love writing with piano, so that's where I'm gonna start and see what we get. Where are you at? There we go. All right, let's see what we can find. Extra fly piano. All right, let's start with that. That's an A minor. What happens if we put it in A major? It's a tiny bit cheerier. Let me put it in B major. That's got a Twilight vibe. Not into that. Let's skip that. D major. No, that's still not right. F. Ooh, I like that. Okay. It's a little lower than I was thinking, but I feel like that kind of starts to evoke some sunshiny vibe. Next, I'm thinking something crisp or crispy, so cymbal or hi-hat. Let's get some hi-hat going, maybe. So this is supposed to be up at 130. This is playing at 91, which is why it sounds a little goofy. So let me see if I can find something that's a little closer to the natural rhythm of this piano riff. What happened if I speed this up just a little bit? Give me this. 990 is too fast. Let's not do that. Not quite. All right, I can rock with that. All right, now for this, again, something kind of playful, something cheery. Yeah, that'll work. All right, cool. that sounds good. I'm going to slow it down a tiny bit. Yeah. All right, next, I like to add a bass line. It just gives it some more volume. It makes it sound more round, which I always appreciate. So let's find some bass. Around the block. Can we do that? No, let's try that. A little too funky. Nope, that ain't it. Yeah, there we go. See, and that makes sense. It was already in the natural key that I wanted. So let's go ahead and add that bass. Something else that I really like to do is see just how it would build over time. So if I was going to do this one, let's copy that. No, let's do this actually. Let's move those. All right, stop it for a second. Cool. So let's move this here. Let's move this here. Let's do that here. Copy that one, put it here. Copy this one, put it here, and then here, and then here. And the reason I do this is just to see how the beat could build. So let's start with this piece. Yeah. Then add some extras. Yeah. Cool. So I'm happy with that. I feel like that can span the entire song. And again, I know it's not super exciting. It's only one bar of music that's going to be repeating a lot. But for the purposes of the scratch demo, that's going to give me a good head start to where I want to go. So again, we have the top line melody, which is the piano, a little extra hi-hat, a basic beat, and then console bass. I'm sure there's a ton more texture I could add. And maybe again, one day we will do that. But for now, we're just looking for something super, super simple. Let me go ahead and pause this. Oh, you know what? Why don't I just turn it way, way down? Yeah. Cool. So I'll let that kind of loop in the background. That'll be our elevator music, so to speak. And then I'm going to go back to here. Okay. Free write this. And now we're going to get into some of the lyrics with that instrumentation playing in the background. Let's see how we do. All right. So again, just full candor for all of you. So I just looked at a blank page with lyrics and was like, panic, fuck. And I don't need to do that because I went ahead and storyboarded it and wrote out what I want to actually communicate in the song. So again, like I'm starting Chicago in wintertime. That's my frame of mind. And let's start from there. Chicago in the wintertime. Before I dive into this, I should mention, I know a lot of people, well, I guess we built the instrumentation first, which helps, but a lot of people will write or scat to this beat and try and find some pockets. And for me, like, again, because I have this emotional through line that I really want to try and hold on to and really want to try and use throughout the entire piece, I'm going to try and stay really focused on writing to that storyline. And then you'll see when I go back, like, it's a lot of shaving and editing and carving, because when I go through it the first time, I'm going to trip over my tongue a whole bunch. And that's okay. And again, like that's my process as it is now. If you have a different process or something you would like, let me know. Throw it in the chat. But for now, like I said, I'm just going to keep following the storyboard and do some writing. Let me turn up the music just a tiny bit. Yeah, there we go. The way I always know it's cold in Chicago is when the bones in my fingers hurt. That's the surefire way to know that it is definitely winter in Chicago. And fortunately for me, finger bone cold has two O sounds right back to back, so I get to use that. Another image that I have is it actually didn't happen as much as I thought it would. But when I was in Chicago and we would get snow, it was never like a bit of snow. It was a shitload of snow. And what was always so amazing, particularly if you got up early, which if you are a dog owner, you assuredly did, you would walk outside and any evidence of ice or puddles or footsteps or traffic or dogs or anything is just gone. Like the whole landscape takes on this flatness to it, this quality, which is really, if you stop and just look at it, it's beautiful. It's a fucking nightmare if you're trying to get to work, which is why people do dibs in Chicago. For those of you who don't know, in Chicago, it is a thing that you can dig out a parking spot and then leave something there that signifies it's yours. I've seen parking cones. I've seen picnic chairs. I've seen dolls. That one was weird. But people do it all the time. It's a very Chicago sensation. So if you're visiting and it looks like there's a yard sale down just about every block, that's why. I'm going to my handy dandy word helper. What rhymes with concrete? John Cleese, apparently. That's not very helpful, but that's all right. No, that's not helping very much. So, what if I switch to pavement? Still 2 syllables. There we go. Sometimes when you're up in those early mornings, all the lights are still dark because everyone is sleeping, and it looks like every house is abandoned again just because that lighting is so flat. Fever, retriever, receiver, believer, sneezer, Ebenezer. Ooh. Lakefront, 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 lakefront. The other thing that can be super helpful when you're writing out lyrics is to just ignore rhyming altogether and come back and fix it later. If you try and do it perfect on the first time, deeply guilty. Sometimes you get stuck like this, so I'm just going to keep plowing ahead. So here's what I should do. So again, going back to the storyline, like we're starting from this cold place and then we're going to start to transition. So what I might do is, like, if I was going to write the first 16 bars about that cold, that winter time, then the last 4, 13 through 16, is when I'm going to start to suggest that I'm moving away from this cold and start to hint at what's going to come in the next piece. So again, like if I just wrote 16 about being cold and then 16 about being warm, there's no transition. You're not doing a hospitable job of carrying people through that storyline. So that's why I'm going to have this kind of like little bar transition. And the first 4 for the next 16 might also reach back a little bit and try and link those two ideas together. But for now, so let's move that down and let's go back into some of this description. Let's see. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not a terribly religious person, but one of the things that I so enjoy about songwriting is the opportunity to step into the body or the energy of somebody else. So, buried beneath 20-something different layers, knees so stiff it's hard to kneel for prayers. Not my problem personally, not trying to project that into the universe. And if you have woken up on a cold, humid Chicago day, you know that all of your joints just don't work the way that they're supposed to. That's a super visceral part of the experience that is very, very present. Thank you, Grammarly, for keeping my words on point. I appreciate you very much. Okay, I'm going to change lakefront to lake path. I don't know if this will work, but I think it's fun to use breakfast as break fast, as in the sun coming out of this kind of hibernation, this period of time where it's been snoozy and sleepy. So we'll give it a try. All right, so now what I'm going to do, so we have 16. Yes, we have 16. So before I go further, I'm going to scrape at this a little bit and see if it's at least fitting within the general vibe of the beat. Hopefully it is. And if it is, then I can move on to the next 16. And again, my goal is going to be to start to introduce that idea that people are feeling that day is coming, that hope, that optimism is starting to shine through, so to speak. All right, let me turn the music up a little bit more. All right. Yeah, Chicago in the winter time. Tall snowbanks, deep puddles, frost lines. Gray skies reflect gray buildings. City skyline sits under gray ceilings. Finger bone cold, leaves a bitter taste. New snow, no footsteps, no trace. Flat white, slowly drifting over pavement. Streets empty and windows sit vacant. Sidewalks all look whoa, close. All right, let me go back. I love that rhyme. Sidewalks all look acid wash. That's so many A's, which is fabulous, but holy shit, that's a tongue twister. Let me highlight that for a second. But the first 8, I'll feel pretty good. Let me go back through them one more time. Yeah. 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 Chicago in the wintertime. Tall snowbanks, deep puddles, frost lines. Gray skies reflect gray buildings. City skyline sits under gray ceilings. Finger bone cold, leaves a bitter taste. New snow, no footsteps, no trace. Flat white, slowly drifting over pavement. Streets empty, windowsills all vacant. Cool. I can live with all those. I'm going to let those be. So now we'll go to the next 8. Flat white, slowly drifting over pavement. Streets empty, windowsills vacant. Sidewalks all look acid washed. Clothes soaked through with mud, rain, and salt. Buried beneath 20-something different layers. Knees so stiff, it's hard to kneel for prayers. Too much couch time, feeling spring fever. Temperature ungenerous, Ebenezer. Craving sunny days, miles on the lake path. Done with hibernating, want the sun to break fast. All right. So, as I promised, I put too many syllables and words in those last 3 lines, so I gotta trim them down a little bit. All right, so what I can do for this, which is super helpful, is I can actually slow this down. So I'm gonna do it at 95, but for... What? Don't do that. That's rude. For now, I can take this down to like 80. And that's gonna help me really slow down what I'm saying and deliver it the way I want to. Sidewalks all look acid washed. Clothes soaked through mud, rain, and salt. Buried beneath 20-something different layers. Knees so stiff it's hard to kneel down for prayers. Too much couch time, feeling spring fever. Temperature ungenerous, Ebenezer. Craving sunny days, miles on the lake path. Done with hibernating, want the sun to break fast. All right, there we go. See? Just need to trim out some words we just don't need. For any of you English teachers out there, you should let people know they don't need all these words all the time. They're just not helpful. All right, I still don't love how that first line is coming out, so let me work on that a little more. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sidewalks all look acid washed. Clothes soaked through mud, rain, and salt. Buried beneath 20-something different layers. Knees so stiff it's hard to kneel for prayers. Too much couch time, feeling spring fever. Temperature ungenerous, Ebenezer. Craving sunny days, miles on the lake path. Done with hibernating, want the sun to break fast. Except for pronouncing hibernating not like a word. That was great. So that one looks a little weird to me still. And you know what? We're going to move on because the goal is to get through a demo without you falling asleep. So let's keep going. All right. And let me speed the beat back up. Turn it down a smidge. Yeah. All right. Cool. I actually kind of like it. We don't want it that slow, but maybe like 92. I'm going to stop tinkering. Okay, here we go. Focus, Drew. You got this. All right. First rays pierce to window glass, chest lifts, hoping that winter has passed. Okay. So, as I mentioned, with the last 4 of the first 16, I'm going to reach forward to kind of hint that this is coming. And then with the first 4 of the next one, I'm going to reach back. So, again, like the last 4 and the first 4 are basically forming this group of 8 bars that are helping to shift the dynamic. And now I can move more fully into that like sunny, shiny, happy place. And for just to go through it super quick. So the first rays pierce through the window glass. Again, that's me just taking the hint that like I can say light shines through the glass, but like how do I make the rays seem active? How do I give them a life? How do I give them something? So I want to see them piercing. They're like actively going through the window. Chest lift, that optimism, hoping that winter is past. Tired of the cold, hesitant to react. Everyone's had that feeling where it's like you want it to be warm, but you're also so unwilling to be disappointed that you're like, nah, fuck that. It's not warm. And then for me, again, one of the things that is an easy harbinger or indicator of spring is the birds chirping. So that last line, that question of like, man, did a bird just chirp back? Is that sense that you're starting to have a conversation with nature. It's coming awake, alive. And I'm going to use that as to be leading to the next one. I don't like the word soil. So let's do this game. Then should know I was rhyming with the word dust earlier today, and yet I'm still going to take the heb. The earth's dirt starts to wake up. Water flows in the stems on the way up. Green grass peeks through the rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gusts. Again, like we're shedding these pieces of cold, and they're being replaced by this evidence of spring. As I'm writing, so I'm now remembering like I worked in restaurants for a very long time, almost a decade, and spring is a super important season because you start to see all these ingredients that you haven't seen in eons. So you see ramps and fava beans and fiddlehead ferns and like it's all, and asparagus, it's all, and peas, it's all green, all green. And it's that sign of life that has been hidden behind like dead fucking root vegetables for too long. I just became the main character of the song, which, as you can imagine, happens a lot when you're writing for yourself. We'll see if that stays, maybe not, but for now, optimistic air greets me pleasantly. All right, we need 4 more. I'm about to walk into a sneakers versus tennis shoes debate. I always called them sneakers. I know some people call them tennis shoes. Some people also probably call them Jordans or Air Force Ones or something more specific. So what detail do I want to put in here? All right. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering or hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max, play my favorite feel-good song. All right, let me rhyme Air Max, so I need a different word. Let me try that on. All right, let's go through the second 16 and see what happens. I'm going to slow it down again, and then I'll probably do both 16s at the normal tempo, but we'll see how this sounds. All right, here we go. For everyone tuning in, thank you so much. I appreciate you. This is my first ever stream, so your support is super, super, super welcomed and appreciated. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything you love or don't love. I would love to hear from you. For now, let's spit some bars. The first rays pierce through the window glass. Chest lift, hoping that the winter's past. Tired of the cold, hesitant to react. But what's that? Did a bird just chirp back? The earth's dirt starts to wake up. Water flows into stems on the way up. Green grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gusts. Peek slowly around the door frame, waiting for the icy cold remains. But optimistic air greets me pleasantly. Hear the leaves breaking buds in every tree. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering or hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max. Play my favorite feel-good song, that air slaps. All right, it's a little sloppy. We'll go back through. Hesitant is a perfectly fine word, but it's dense. And if you mess with the syllables within one word too much, it just starts to sound really bizarre. So we're going to make it something simpler, like don't wanna. See? Easy. All right, let me go through the first 4, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah. First rays pierce through my window glass. Chest lift, hoping that winter's past. Tired of the cold, don't want to overreact. Too many, okay. All right. So the other nice thing about this 4 that I want to keep if I can is that there's glass past act that back. So I have this great A sound that I can kind of lean on through all 4 bars. So I just got to find the timing. I got to find the words. Here we go. First rays pierce through my window glass. Chest lift, hoping that winter's past. Tired of the cold, can't overreact. But what's that? Did a bird just chirp back? The earth's dirt starts to wake up. Water flows in the stems on the way up. Green grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gusts. Peek slowly around the door frame, waiting for the icy cold remains. But optimistic air greets me pleasantly. I hear the leaves breaking buds in every tree. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering, hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max. Play my favorite feel-good song that air slaps. All right. Better, closer. Okay, that was good, and I like the way the cadence shifted toward the end. Let's go to the next four. The earth's dirt, she starts to wake up. Water flows in the stems on the way up. Green grass peeks through rock. All right, that line sucks. So I have room to add more syllables there. And when you hear me like getting anxious and impatient, it's because I don't want to wait to say the words out. So I'm going to make this line a little more full, a little more dense. And I want another G word. Let's see if I can get away with adding 2 syllables and see what happens. The earth's dirt, she starts to wake up. Water flows in the stems on the way up. Green grass, whoa. Green growing grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gust. Green growing grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gust. Peek slowly around the door frame, waiting for the icy cold remains. But optimistic air greets me pleasantly. Hear the leaves breaking buds in every tree. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering, hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max. Play my favorite song, cause that air slaps. Alright, cool. Let's put it back to pace and do the whole thing and see how it sounds. If you are just joining into the stream, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Please feel free to leave a comment, any thoughts you have. I am just running through a song that I'm actively in the process of writing. Again, this started from nothing at the beginning of the stream, and now we're going into it. So let me change up the beat a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. All right, let's bring this up to 90. All right. Yeah, Chicago in the wintertime. Tall snow bakes deep puddles, frost lines. Gray skies reflect gray buildings. City skylines hits under gray ceilings. Finger bone cold, leaves a bitter taste. New snow, no footsteps, no trace. Flat white slowly drifting over pavement. Streets empty, windowsills all vacant. Sidewalks all look acid washed. Clothes soaked through with mud, rain, and salt. Buried beneath 20-something different layers. Knees so stiff it's hard to kneel for prayers. Too much couch time, feeling spring fever. Temperature ungenerous, Ebenezer. Craving sunny days, miles on the lake path. Done with hibernating, want the sun to break fast. First rays pierce through my window glass. Chest lift, hoping that winter's past. Tired of the cold, can't overreact. But what's that? Did a bird just chirp back? The earth's dirt starts to wake up. Water flows in the stems on the way up. Green growing grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gusts. Peek slowly around the door frame, waiting for the icy cold remains. But optimistic air greets me pleasantly. Hear the leaves breaking buds in every tree. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering, hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max. Play my favorite song so that the air slaps. Hey, all right. We're getting somewhere. All right, we're going to do one more 16. And that is going to be our scratch demo. So now, like, we've done Chicago as cold, shitty winter. We've done, oh my God, it might be the day that the winter actually breaks through. And now we're going to go into what I talked about at the beginning, like that energy, that crazy feeling you get around the city when everyone is outside and everyone is just happy to be in that sunshine. All right, let me change the beat up again. A smidge. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here we go. All right, so back to 80. Turn it down a little bit. All right. And now I'm going to go back to my storyboard just to see what I had. People are everywhere, swimming at Ohio Street Beach, running on the lakefront, drinking on patios, walking down Michigan Avenue, shopping, so much iced coffee. So, you know what? I'm going to use the 16. I'm going to throw a little love to some of the restaurants and the people that I love from Chicago because that just feels appropriate. All right. This is turning a little bit into like kid nostalgia, but you know what? That's fine. I'm totally here for it. So again, this is going to end up being like a micro travel blog for Chicago. If you go and the weather is nice, go to Big Star, sit on the patio, get chips and guacamole, okay, so here's the thing. You can get a pitcher of margaritas. They're fantastic. You can also get plenty of beer. Their whiskey program is fucking unbelievable. So if you're like me, get an old fashioned instead. It's super good. And all the tacos you could possibly eat. I don't know why you would do anything else. So margarita pitchers chilling at Big Star. People packed tight in every single train car. Swimmers in sand castles. If it fits, I want to say down at Ohio Street. So it's Ohio Street Beach, but that's not the way I want it to go. I like down at Ohio Street. Give me all the tacos and ice cream to eat. You know, everyone loves to be a fat kid every once in a while. It's allowed. All right. Okay. That's coming from an image. So again, there's this lakefront path in Chicago where all these people are running. And I love the idea where people are running but have nowhere to go. So in the Midwest, Friday fish fries are a real thing, and they are popular. A lot of restaurants do it. A lot of families do it. A lot of supper clubs, particularly up in Wisconsin, do it. And like, dude, it's madness. It's all the fried food you could ever possibly eat. As I mentioned earlier, everything to do with Chicago usually has to do with food. There's an awful lot of it there, which is great. All right. Everybody running nowhere to go. Watch the tides of the lake ebb and flow. AC blast as we wind down Michigan. Again, if you've never been there, Michigan Avenue, huge thoroughfare. It's like Fifth Avenue in New York City. It's where all the shopping is. It's beautiful. They have all these flowers. It's craziness, particularly again on this day. Mm. Okay. If you're unfamiliar, Old Style is the quintessential shitty beer of all of Chicago, and as far as I know, you do not really get it anywhere else. Probably in Milwaukee, but certainly on the East and West Coast, and certainly not in Colorado. I have a fond memory. I don't know if I'd say fond. They're kind of gross, but it's part of the thing. You got to be there. Again, some of these I'm pushing to make happen, because once you get it into motion, then your creativity starts to flow. Rooftop. Let me see if I can find something fun for rooftop. Rooftop. Nope. We'll go to... Nope, that's definitely not it. Holy smokes, I can't spell. There we go. Screw top. All right. Let's try this. I don't love it, but we'll leave it for now, and we'll see where we go. No, I really don't like it. We're going to change it now. 'Cause I said so. If you've been to Chicago in the summer, it is flipping humid, so it feels very necessary to mention that. And now, if you go all the way back to the beginning of the stream, I said I had this enduring vision of Logan Boulevard, which is very close to where I used to live, and my apartment right there, and so that's going to be the last 4 bars. So... All right. I like ending on the Witty City. All right. Let's see here. Window down, music up on the boulevard. Carefree, smiling. I don't want a perfect rhyme for boulevard. That feels forced, but we'll see what we come up with. Looking glass definitely does not rhyme with boulevard. That's good to know. Good heart speaks to me. Let's try that. All right. So again, English teacher rule breaking. I don't need that A. I can just go lasting image leaves me feeling. Feeling nifty? No, that doesn't sound good at all. I do like the word crispy. Let's try that. Go away, Grammarly. You're not wrong. Okay. Really? Okay. All right, let me turn up the beat a little bit, and let's see what we can do with that. All right. Beat goes a little higher. All right, we'll keep it this nice and slow, 80. I'll do this at 80. We'll do the whole thing at 80, and then we'll do the whole thing at 90, which is the pace I'd like to have the song, and see where we land. That might be it for the scratch demo. We'll see how we do. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Margarita pitchers chilling that big star. People packed tight in every single train car. Swimmers and sand castles at Ohio Street. Give me all the tacos that I can eat. Everybody running, nowhere to go. Watch the tides of the lake ebb and flow. Yeah, AC blast. Okay, let's go back. So down at Ohio Street didn't work, and ice cream doesn't fit, so it's going to be just tacos. All right, here we go. Margarita pitchers chilling that big star. People packed tight in every single train car. Swimmers in sand castles at Ohio Street. Give me all the tacos that I can eat. Everybody running, nowhere to go. Watch the tides of the lake as they ebb and flow. AC blast winding down Michigan. Every Friday, eating fried fish again. Patio party, every single rooftop. Humidity caught in every single dewdrop. Catch the Cubbies game, try and stay a while. Tearing down a bucket of old style. Window down, music up on the boulevard. Carefree, smiling, grateful in my big heart. Lasting image leaves me feeling super crispy. So goes a perfect day in the Windy City. All right, we are doing it. What did I change here? I think I added something extra there. If I didn't mention it, the AC blast is because when you walk by all these fancy ass stores on Michigan Avenue and they open the door, it feels like there's a Yeti blowing freezing wind in your face. It actually feels great. But that's my enduring memory of Michigan Avenue, is walking down and just like every block, every once in a while, you just get like whoosh right in the face. All right, let's go through the 16 once more. Margarita pitchers chilling at Big Star. People packed tight in every single train car. Swimmers and sand castles at Ohio Street. Give me all the tacos that I can eat. Everybody running, nowhere to go. Watch the tides of the lake as they ebb and flow. AC blast winding down Michigan. Every Friday, eating fried fish again. Patio party, every single rooftop. Humidity caught in every single dewdrop. Catch the Cubbies game, try and stay a while. Tearing down a bucket of old style. Window down, music up on the boulevard. Carefree, smiling, grateful in my big heart. Lasting image leaves me feeling crispy. So goes a perfect day in the Windy City. All right, we're gonna do the whole Sheboygan. That's a very Midwestern reference that you probably don't understand. I apologize. Let's do the whole thing at this tempo, and then we'll tempo up, and then we'll see where we're at. Again, if you're joining for the stream, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm excited that you're here, and let's get it. Yeah, Chicago in the wintertime. Tall snowbanks, deep puddles, frost lines. Gray skies reflect gray buildings. City skyline sits under gray ceiling. Finger bone cold, leaves a bitter taste. New snow, no footsteps, no trace. Flat white slowly drifting over pavement. Streets empty, windowsills vacant. Sidewalks all look acid washed. Clothes soaked through mud, rain, and salt. Buried beneath 20-something different layers. Knees so stiff it's hard to kneel for prayers. Too much couch time, feeling spring fever. Temperature ungenerous, Ebenezer. Craving sunny days, miles on the lake path. Done with hibernating, want the sun to break fast. First rays pierce through my window glass. Chest lift, hoping that winter's past. Tired of the cold, can't overreact. But what's that? Did a bird just chirp back? The earth's dirt starts to wake up. Water flows into stems on the way up. Green growing grass peeks through rocks and dust. I feel a calm breeze, no more frigid gusts. Peek slowly around the door frame, waiting for icy cold remains. But optimistic air greets me pleasantly. Hear the leaves breaking buds in every tree. Holy shit, I think the day arrived. No more cowering, hiding inside. Throw on clothes, jump into an Air Max. Play my favorite song so that the air slaps. Margarita pitchers chilling at Big Star. People packed tight in every single train car. Swimmers and sand castles at Ohio Street. Give me all the tacos that I can eat. Everybody running, nowhere to go. Watch the tides of the lake as they ebb and flow. AC blast winding down Michigan. Every Friday, eating fried fish again. Patio party, every single rooftop. Humidity caught in every single dewdrop. Watch the Cubs game, try and stay a while. Tearing down a bucket of old style. Window down, music up on the boulevard. Carefree, smiling, grateful in my big heart. Lasting image leaves me feeling super crispy. So goes a perfect day in the Windy City. Hey. All right. Honestly, I'm not gonna touch that. I kind of like it a little slower. I feel like it fits. Which means, holy smokes, team, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. Thank you so much, Cool Womble, for the comment. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for stopping by. That is going to be the end of our stream for the evening. Thank you so much for coming by. Again, this is a songwriting session, and all I'm trying to do is go from the seed of an idea, this little thing, and try and turn it into a song. I'm going to be streaming again on Thursday, same time, and hopefully I'll do some more work on this. I'll bring that demo into the future. If I'm feeling super ambitious, I'll do it as a lyric video, and I want to share that with you if you come back. Mr. Cool Womble, I appreciate you so much, or Mrs., I don't know. I can't see, your avatar is a cartoon. Who's to say? Could be anybody. But I appreciate you so much for stopping by, and if you come by on Thursday, you'll see a version of that song that's a little more evolved, a little more developed, and I would love to share that with you. And then we'll start all again, and we'll have a new seed, a new song, and we'll go from 0 all the way to demo. In the meantime, though, again, my name is Jack Dawkins. I appreciate you so much for being here, and I am out for the evening. Peace.